In today's lecture, we will see the learnability concept. Now, what is learnability? So, here how the data is classified accurately, that we have to see. Okay, so here there are two different, in this figure you can see there are two different classes are shown. One with the class B is class A shown with the red color data, and class B shown with the blue color data. Okay, so there is an example of data set whose points must be classified as red, class A, and blue with class B. So three hypotheses can be drawn from this. So first line, that is three hypotheses will be shown with the three lines. So first line, the middle one, which starts from the left, which misclassifies the data with one sample only, and upper and lower lines will misclassify the data with 13 and 23 samples respectively. So we can say with the lower line misclassifies the 13 sample, and the upper line misclassifies the 23 samples. Okay, so the first hypothesis is optimal and should be selected. As we can see, it will be misclassify only one sample. That's why the first hypothesis is optimal and should be selected, right? So however, it's important to understand an essential concept which can determine the potential overfitting. Some concept we have to identify which determine the potential overfitting. So what is that? So this figure, see this figure, we will see the concept behind that. So the blue classifier is linear while the red one is cubic. So here we can see the blue classifier is linear. What is the linear? If it comes in one straight line, so we can see over here one straight line is given. So blue classifier is in one straight line, that's why we can say it is a linear. And another red class is not linear, it's a cubic, right? At a glance, non-linear strategy seems to perform better because it can capture more expensively thanks to its concavities. Okay. However, if few samples are added in this data set, following trends defined by the last four ones from the right, they will be completely misclassified. If we add more example into this data sample, so if we consider the left last four data samples from here, so it can identify that it will be completely misclassified, these four samples, two blue and two red, this will be completely misclassified, right? So from the right, so they will be completely misclassified. In fact, while a linear function is globally better but cannot capture the initial oscillation between 0 and 4, a cubic approach can fit this data almost preferably, but at the same time loses its ability to keep a global linear trend. So there are two types of functions we have shown, that is linearly and cubic, right? So linearly we can say non-linear and linear. So in non-linear strategy, what happens, we can capture the cubic data. So like this, curve like structure is there, that is the non-linear data it can capture, and it misclassifies two samples in this data set, right? Now, and in linear one, linear means straight lines which capture the initial, which cannot capture the initial oscillation from 0 to 4. A cubic approach can fit this data almost preferably, but at the same time loses its ability to keep a global linear trend. Okay. Next concept is underfitting and overfitting. Now, what is underfitting and what is overfitting? Underfitting means whatever the data, one limit is given, So below that limit, if that data occurs, then we can say it's the underfitting, and if above limit it goes, so we can say overfitting, right? So this is in general we can say, but what is that we will see. So underfitting, from the name itself we have drawn this conclusion that underfitting means whatever the limit is set, below that if that data goes, that is underfitting, and if it goes above that, then it is overfitting, right? So what is underfitting then? It means that the model isn't able to capture the dynamics shown by the same training set, probably because its capacity is too limited, right? And what is overfitting? The model has an expensive capacity and it's not more able to generalize considering the original dynamics provided by the training set. What is dynamics? We can say dynamics is the limit. So ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट ने जो भी लिमिट सेट की है, दैट इज़ द लिमिट. तो उसके अबाउ अगर वो जाता है तो ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट उसे क्या कर जनरलाइज नहीं कर पाता है. क्लियर? So it can associate almost preferably all the known samples to the corresponding output values, but when an unknown input is presented, अभी यहाँ पे क्या होता है ओवरफिटिंग में, अगर कोई नॉन सैम्पल्स है तो वो क्या करेगा, उसकी करस्पॉन्डिंग आउटपुट वैल्यू शो करेगा. लेकिन अगर अननोन इनपुट आता है तो ये क्या करेगा, द करस्पॉन्डिंग प्रेडिक्टर एरर कैन बी वेरी. सो प्रेडिक्टर एरर जो होगा इसका वो हाई होगा ओवरफिटिंग में. क्लियर? सो दिस इज द एग्जांपल अंडर फिटिंग एंड ओवरफिटिंग, एंड दिस इज नॉर्मल फिटिंग. Now how this errors can be measured. So we can see over here, in general when working with a supervised scenario, we define a non-negative error measure. So supervised scenario के साथ अगर हम लोग वर्किंग करते हैं तो we define the non-negative error measure, which is denoted by the EM, which takes two arguments, that is expected and predicted outcome, and allows us to compute the total error value over the data set. So this is the formula given for that error measure. H is equals to I is equals to 1 to n, that is the n for n samples in the database, em yi and yi, where em is greater than equal to 0 for all the values in that particular data set, that is expected and predicted value. Expected is denoted by yi bar and predicted is denoted by yi. So this value is also implicitly dependent on the specific hypothesis. ये जो values है, that is implicitly depending on the specific hypothesis h through the parametric set. So therefore the optimizing the error implies finding an optimal hypothesis. So how we can find the optimal hypothesis, that is equals to 1 by n, that is n samples out of which we are considering 1. That's why this is given 1 by n, summation of 1 to n by I minus yi. दैट इज़ ऑप्टिमल कैसे निकालेंगे हम लोग, एक्सपेक्टेड माइनस प्रेडिक्टेड स्क्वायर. इट्स यूजफुल टू कंसीडर द मीन स्क्वायर एरर. नाउ व्हाट इज मीन स्क्वायर एरर? हियर it is given an example of mean square error. So if you have considered the 5 examples, and for 5 examples error has calculated, squared error has calculated, and of that square error total of 5, average is considered, that is nothing but the mean square error. This measure is also called the loss function because its value must be minimized through an optimization problem. Clear? So when it's easy to determine an element which must be maximized, the corresponding loss function will its reciprocal. Okay. Now another useful loss function is the 0-1 loss, and it's particularly efficient for the binary classification. Another loss function is also there, that we called it as a 0 1 loss function, and it is preferably useful when the binary classification is used. Okay, so that is binary means 0 and 1, that's why it is used at that time only. So 0 if yi bar is equals to yi, and 1 if yi bar is not equals to yi. Generic and continuous loss function can be expressed in terms of potential energy. So there are three types of loss function we are looking for. This loss function, 0 1 loss function, and generic, that is continuous loss function. So continuous loss function will be defined like this. पोटेंशियल एनर्जी के टर्म में कंटिन्यूस लॉस फंक्शन शो किया जाता है, दैट इज एनर्जी हाइपोथेसिस इज इक्वल्स टू 1/2 ऑफ that particular expression. Okay, the predictor is like a ball upon a rough surface. यहाँ पे जो भी predicted values है continuous value की, it's like a ball on a rough surface starting from a random point where energy is equals to error is usually rather high. It must move until it reaches a stable equilibrium point where its energy is null. In the following figure, there is a schematic representation of some different situation. So this is from where the ball gets starts, where the error energy gets high. यहाँ से यहाँ तक आएगा नल होने तक. Then यहाँ पे एक रीच गिवन है और उसके बाद यहाँ पे वैली गिवन है, right? The starting point is the stable without any external perturbation. So to start the process, it's needed to provide the initial kinetic energy, right? However, if such an energy is strong enough, if that kinetic energy is strong enough, then after descending over the slope, the ball cannot slope in the global minimum, right? The residual kinetic energy can be enough to overcome the reach and reach the right valley, right? If there are not other energy resources, the ball gets trapped in the plain valley and cannot move anymore. Avoid local minima. What is the meaning of this here? Here from this high point, we are starting this ball with the high kinetic energy, and when we throw it, at some point, if another energy is not present in between, then it will cross this ridge easily and reach to the final valley, right? But if some energy is there in between, then it cannot cross this ridge. Clear? So avoid the local minima. However, every situation must always be carefully analyzed to understand what level of residual energy means what? The error. It's acceptable, or whether it's better to adopt a different strategy. Clear? Means different energy present in between means what? We can say error